everyone. It's Amy Nakos. How are you doing? I'm here today with my pal and my realtor in Mexico, Ruben Vargas.
Good morning, Amy. How you doing?
Good. All right. So we've been talking about this forever. And what I want to do is I want to give my audience and your audience just some basic information about how do you buy real estate in Mexico. And a quick intro, we met because Darren and I have a lot in Mexico where we're going to build a home, and Ruben helped us find that. So I'm going to let Ruben do an introduction of who he is and where he lives and what he does. And then we're going to have a conversation about what it takes to buy real estate or land in Mexico. And let's get rolling. Okay, Ruben, go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
Fantastic. Ready to jump into this. Thank you, Amy. Yeah. 23 years now, on my way to 24 years in Los Cabos. Grew up in the mountains of Utah and made the move here 23 years ago, not realizing I was going to make this home sweet home for so many years. The lifestyle has been an incredibly wonderful draw to our destination, and proximity back to, if you want to call it reality, 2-hour flight back to most of them western United States, if you will. Began in wine sales when I first moved here, and then transferred into real estate sales approximately 15 years ago, and been enjoying the upswing in the market here, and basically watching our destination flourish for the past 20 years. It's gone through its peaks and plateaus, but we have definitely seen an upswing like no other in the history of our destination in the past couple of years, as I'm sure you have in the Colorado and the mountain areas there as well, post-pandemic.
It's definitely a resort phenomenon, right? Well, I mean, we can talk more about that too. Who are the type of buyers you're seeing?
I'm seeing exactly those families at urban metropolitan areas, as far east as New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Atlanta, Georgia. Now we're seeing, and we've always have had a strong following from the Dallas, Houston, San Francisco, Seattle markets as well, the more western states, which can access us with indirect flights of 2.5 hours. That's been our backbone of our foreign investment. And then the Canadian market came in strong approximately 6-7 years ago, as their carriers began flying direct flights from Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver as well. So we've seen a big upswing in our Canadian market in the past 6-7 years because of that.
Awesome. All right. We know that buying real estate in Mexico is a little bit different than buying real estate in the United States. Here we have fee simple title, where you own the property until you sell it. Tell us about how it works in Mexico with the Fideicomiso.
Fantastic. The Fideicomiso is basically, in terms directly translatable to what is a custom in the United States, would be called a trust, if you will. The trust is held by a bank, and you are the beneficiary of that trust. It is about, it's irrevocable. The trust is, you as the lead beneficiary dictate how the trust is managed, meaning that it can be leased, it can be sold, it can be mortgaged, it could be bequeathed to family. The Fideicomiso has an annual assessment, though. The annual assessment is approximately $450. And what that does, it allows the bank to maintain your trust active. The trust is active for 50 years and is automatically renewable after 50 years. Now, this allows foreign investment along what we call the restricted zone of Mexico. The restricted zone of Mexico is written into the Constitution in the late 1800s that the borders around the country are to be secured. And in doing so, it's 100 kilometers inland from the northern and southern borders and 50 kilometers inland from the coastlines. Now, the government of Mexico in the early 90s saw that there was this large influx of foreign investment wanting to participate in ownership along our beautiful coastlines, from Cancun to Puerto Vallarta to Mazatlan to here in Los Cabos. So to overcome this and to make it a secured ownership, and quite frankly, it is as basic as it feels like fee simple ownership.
Mhm.
They created this trust that's known as the Fideicomiso. And that's basically full circle on how it came about and how it's managed. Now, what's beautiful about the beneficiary structure is that you can entitle second, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth, beneficiaries below the lead beneficiary. So therefore, in the event of death, the second beneficiary only has to show proof of death certificate, a simple letter, and automatically it transfers to the second beneficiary. So no probates involved, very clean transfer of ownership within the beneficiaries, which makes it very simple.
When I've talked to people in the United States about this, they're weird, they're uncomfortable with it, feeling like they don't own it. But you've brought up a few great benefits. It's only $450 a year to maintain it. When it transfers to your beneficiaries, it just transfers because you've already set it up that way without probate. Any other wrinkles to it that people need to know about?
None whatsoever. The initiation fee, though, there is a slight initiation fee of approximately $1,800 to $2,000 to initiate the trust with the bank. And that's about the only other fee. And that's, I have quite a few. This structure, the Fideicomiso, has been designed by the Foreign Ministry of the federal government of Mexico for foreign investment only. So this Fideicomiso, this trust, is only available for foreigners. Many of my national clients, Mexican clients, would actually like that structure. It's just not available to them. Why? Because again, it eliminates the probate, it eliminates all of that, court proceedings and whatnot in the event of death. It's such a cleaner and much easier process.
That's really cool. I learned something new. All right. The other thing I want to chat with you about is cash versus financing, because we have experienced here in the States that you cannot get a US bank to finance a property in Mexico. So tell me your experience with that.
Correct. Prior to the 2008 real estate bubble burst that we call experience in North America, prior to that, we did have international lending, primarily from the US. And what happened is that after that experience, they realized that trying to foreclose a property in a foreign land was very, very challenging, close to impossible. So what has happened is that all of that US type lending structure has kind of stepped away from the marketplace. But there is a demand for that, and the local national banks have seen that. Mexico is still growing in its knowledge and stability of mortgaging, if you will. Mm-hmm. So the rates are not similar what you expect in the United States. So therefore, many of my American or Canadian clients would see these loan structures that the local government or the local banks do provide as more bridge loans. Interest rates are typically north of 8 or 9%. Mm-hmm. So it would not be a long-term carry, but I have seen it and it's been useful, as I mentioned a moment ago, as a bridge loan to get families the opportunity to purchase today before that opportunity goes away, knowing that tomorrow funds would be available via retirement bonus, some type of a stock exchange bonus or something going on that they could liquidate then the purchase within a few days, within a couple of few years.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So Ruben, I know you have a lot of experience in land also. I want to talk briefly about when your clients come in and maybe they're looking for existing property or maybe they're looking for land. How does that play out in your business?
Yes, for land would be more of a long play. Land is a family that is comfortable with creating and designing their dream home and having the tools and the assets and feeling comfortable doing this from abroad. All the above is available, but it definitely takes a bit of a renegade type of maybe mindset to come down and start that path. Yeah. But what does that allow you? It allows you to get your foot in the door at a much more affordable price point, and then it allows you to take your time creating and drawing and designing your dream home, what best suits your family needs. Be it a larger family room because you have large, 4 or 5 children that would be traveling with you. Maybe it's a retirement home and you're just going to be hosting adult guests, so you have independent suites. This type of design that would suit your lifestyle is a benefit when you do begin with land, and then you can grow it slowly from there. And we have a plethora of architects here, builders here to select from. So, everything from the high, over the top, high net worth design builder to a nice, solid, economical build as well. So we have everything available here locally.
That's great. We see that here too. People have, when you have a little more time to plan and you're not quite ready to retire and you're still living in your primary location, we do see people buy land. Resort markets, that's what happens. Let's talk a little bit more about lifestyle there and your market. Let's talk about the fun stuff.
Absolutely.
What draws people to Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo? And can you not only talk about the lifestyle, but maybe the difference between San Jose, the corridor, and Cabo?
Absolutely. I've always mentioned to my clients over the years, when you're looking at this investment, it's an investment not necessarily in the sense that you would approach your first home purchase in your primary residence back at home. This is a investment in your lifestyle. This is an investment in your future of health, well-being. Why do we say this? 360 days of sunshine is what we boast here. An incredible abundance of sea life in our ocean, crystal clear waters, fresh air. We are on the tip of the longest peninsula in the world, 300 miles away from mainland Mexico. We're set out in the Pacific Ocean, almost like an island like Hawaii. So you have this incredible quality of life married now with a lifestyle support, fantastic hospitalization, completely safe in our community. All the finest chefs in the world have opened restaurants here. We have a list of the finest hotels we can boast in our destination here as well. Now, to your point, Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo, both of them make up the Los Cabos region. We refer to the coastline between the two communities as our Golden Coast. Our Golden Coast is approximately 22 miles of coastline, and Los Cabos, translation, the Capes. So along the Golden Corridor is one cape after another, Los Cabos. Now, both communities are distinctly different in lifestyle as well. Cabo San Lucas was the original, if you will, large marina, which brings in all the fishermen, which brings in a bit more of a, what do you do after fishing? Well, a little more lifestyle, a little more nightlife. The nightclubs began here. This is kind of where all the Las Vegas type party lifestyle occurs. San Jose del Cabo was built around the estuary, a freshwater inlet that meets the ocean, and dates all the way back to when the pirates used to sail past here, and that would be a freshwater source for them, and is why the Jesuit priest decided to build the first mission here on the tip of the Baja in San Jose del Cabo, right next to this freshwater resource. And the colonial feel of San Jose has remained ever since. In fact, every Thursday evening during the season, from the 1st of November till the first part of June, they host every Thursday night the art walk through the colonial district of San Jose, which is they close off all the downtown streets within the colonial region, and all the galleries and restaurants open their doors to the public. There's street entertainment, mariachis playing, fire dancers, and families can just wander through the colonial part of town safely and enjoying the art and the lifestyle of Mexico. It's a wonderful feeling. And that's basically what San Jose boasts, a more casual, relaxed lifestyle.
And then in between on the corridor, that's called the corridor, right?
The corridor, yes. The Golden Zone corridor.
Yeah. So If
Yes,
people have come to visit and they say, oh, I've been to Cabo, it's likely that they might have been at a resort along the corridor, right?
correct,
Mhm.
correct. And again, that's where the Los Cabos branding, it refers to our entire region, our destination as a whole. And then you can be more specific with Cabo San Lucas, San Jose del Cabo, or the corridor. The corridor is the location where you find most of our luxurious resorts. But from there, you can jump into either community or out in the ocean for a day of fishing.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. What has happened in your market?
We have seen numbers that are baffling. I cannot believe the upswing in our market here in Los Cabos. We have triple-digit increase across the entire board.
In percentages?
In percentages, from the low end to the high end. Every range of value has increased by triple digits. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I've seen in the marketplace in the $100,000 to $200,000 category, which is typically land sales.
Mhm.
In land sales of an increase of 271% over last year's numbers. And now we look at townhomes, condos, or smaller private communities off the water with beautiful ocean views. This is typically a $300,000 to $400,000 purchase. We've seen increases there of 320%.
So from
Volume.
100 to 900, or was it 100 up to 300?
It was 300 to 400 in that range.
And
Just
it's
in the
now
300 to 400, and it's gone up 328%.
so it's like $1 million. You know, Ruben, I thought my market was crazy, but you win. Okay, what else? What else are you seeing?
Well, it's just it's incredible. Oh, well, what about the volume? Let's talk
The
about
volume.
volume of sales.
Mhm.
2021 from 2020, we've seen an increase. No, we've had 2,100 units sold. But let's talk about the net value of that, what that number represents.
Mhm.
2,100 units sold represents $1.6 billion in revenue,
Mhm.
in net volume. Incredible for our small destination. $2 to $5 million, which is the luxury market that I typically work with. That's in the luxury north of $1 million. We see that the 2 to 5 is probably where most of the action occurs and most of the activity occurs. 193 units sold last year, and that market alone created $571 million in volume.
Yeah.
Just the $2 to $5 million range.
So we talked about this a little bit. Do you feel this is pandemic driven?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Similar to the mountain states, folks in the urban metropolis during the lockdowns, I think really had an eye-opening experience of quality of life.
Mhm.
Once you realize that life is short, quality of life is available and outside of the urban parts of life. We've seen a massive increase. Most of these sales, I would think from my experience, are the first movement of the market were from families that already owned here in Los Cabos. They
Oh.
already had a second home or third home here in Cabo that they strictly used as a vacation destination home. During the pandemic, they maybe realized they could come down and work from this environment.
Mhm.
Once they spent more time in these homes of theirs, they realized quality of life was significantly better here than back what they were dealing with at home. So they found themselves upgrading that home size to something more comfortable, something they would spend more time in. So they purchased larger, leaving their current homes available for sale. Now we have this influx of new buyers coming, friends and family of perhaps those that already owned here, seeking the same quality of life, and entry-level homes were now available for them to purchase because those that were already here have upgraded to larger homes. So it was kind of a stepping cascade of sales that just occurred. And here we are in 2022. Our numbers were tracking similar The only hiccup I could see down the road as the year continues forward is that we're running out of inventory.
Yeah.
We've run out of homes to sell. We've run out of property to sell. We're just now we're focusing on new builds.
I
And
feel that pain. We have the same situation here. Yeah, totally. Wow. Well, so do you have, I know you do. Do you have any buyers in your hopper who have been looking for a few years and they missed the boat?
I'm working with one right now currently. They were last time in Los Cabos with me in July last year. And they at that time felt they were strictly single home family buyer. And we looked at multiple properties and they just felt the market was just too hot and driving too quickly north out of their budget. And they felt if they held on a little bit longer, that it would level off and perhaps recede even a bit. They were just here with me last week. They've come to find out that the inventory they looked at last year is all gone.
Yeah.
They actually, because of lack of inventory, began looking into the condo townhome market as an option as well. And they were very surprised with the square footage a lot of our condominium and townhomes offer, and the feeling of a private villa, a single family home that a lot of these properties offer. And fortunately, they're submitting an offer today.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Well,
before they miss the market again, because they realize the pricing and the inventory is just going away.
Well, I'm so happy that I feel like our purchase of our land was right before everything hit. Don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think you're just on the front end of the curve.
Just
unbelievable.
Just on the front end. I know. And we could feel it. I'm like, this is it. We got to do it right now. But it helps when you're in the business and you kind of get a sense for those market cycles. But I don't think either of us could have predicted the business we're in right now, right?
No. This cycle has really flourished stronger than I've ever seen in the marketplace before.
So read the tea leaves. What's the end game? What's going to happen?
A new price point assessment in Los Cabos. This surge and the lack of inventory has created a new price per square foot margin here in our destination. That is the new plateau. And this is where we're going to settle at for perhaps the next couple of years, and then await the next cycle to push us even further north as time goes forward. The one thing we do not create more of down here in Los Cabos is more coastline.
Right.
The beach is what you see today is all you get today. And that's as it begins to fill in, and more developments are starting to push further away from from our central areas of Los Cabos. And we're beginning to see more and more larger investments along the East Cape, along Todos Santos on the Pacific side. And this could be another conversation we can have in the near future about how the growth now is heading outside of Los Cabos as well.
Yes, I think that'll be another conversation, but I agree. I've had 3 friends recently who are buying or building in Cerritos. Yeah,
absolutely. A hot market up there as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, Ruben, thank you so much. I think that this was a great conversation. I think it was a great introduction for our audience to understand how to get into your market and that they better act really fast. So again, everybody, in the comments will be the contact information for me and Ruben if you want to get a hold of either of us about real estate, either in the mountains of Colorado or down at the beach in the Los Cabos area. And we're your lifestyle experts, right? We're going to make your life so much better.
Yes.
All right. Until next time.
Come down and visit soon.
Absolutely. I'll be in touch with that. We're coming down in a few weeks, but thank you, audience. And until next time, just keep living the dream.
Living the dream. Ciao.